The arrival of the Vex Dominions. The morning skies over the human colony of New Montana were perfectly clear, save for the sudden appearance of towering angular silhouettes descending from the upper atmosphere. The Vex Dominions walkers, as they would come to be known, breached the colony's airspace with an unsettling grace, their metallic frames reflecting the twin suns as they unfolded themselves. Commander Elijah Winters, the seasoned leader of the Colonial Defense Forces, stood at the command center's viewport, his weathered face illuminated by the emergency lighting. 20 years of military service had not prepared him for this moment. The Colonial Defense Fleet lay in ruins, its ships scattered across the system like broken toys. "Lieutenant Ramirez, status report," Winters ordered, his voice betraying a hint of tension. "Sir, the quantum comms are down. We can't reach Earth Command," Ramirez replied, his voice cracking slightly. Winters nodded, unsurprised. The Vex had systematically crippled their communication capabilities within the first hour of their arrival. Their strategy spoke of careful planning, of an enemy that had studied humanity's weaknesses. "Show me the walker specs again," Winters commanded, turning to the holographic display. The alien machines defied conventional military doctrine. Their leg joints should have buckled under their own weight. Their armor should have compromised their mobility, yet they moved with impossible grace, each step devastating everything in their path. Deep in the command bunker, Dr. Elise Gonzalez, the colony's chief archaeologist, burst through the security checkpoint. "Commander, you need to see this," she said, her voice laced with a sense of urgency. Winters suppressed the urge to reprimand her for the breach in protocol. With alien war machines advancing on their position, old rules seemed less important. "Make it quick, Doctor," he said. Gonzalez spread a series of old-style paper documents across Winters' tactical display. "The reason I was sent to New Montana wasn't just for the prehistoric artifacts. There's something else here, something we built." Winters' eyes narrowed as he studied the yellowed pages, blueprints, technical specifications, and project notes from nearly 50 years ago. Project Atlas was decommissioned before I was born. The Walker program was a failure. Gonzalez shook her head emphatically. "No, not a failure. They were ahead of their time. The project was shut down because the AI they planned to use wasn't sophisticated enough. But look at these designs." Her finger traced the mechanical layouts. "They solved the weight distribution problems. They created adaptive hydraulic systems that could learn and improve. They just couldn't build a brain good enough to run it. We have better AI now." Winters' mind raced as he studied the approaching Vex walkers on his tactical display. They had perhaps 4 hours before the aliens reached the colony's main settlement. 4 hours to either evacuate 3 million civilians or find a way to fight back. "Lieutenant Ramirez," Winters called out, "get me Chief Engineer Olivia Hernandez. Tell her to bring her best team and find me every AI specialist still alive in this colony." Ramirez's eyes widened with realization. "Sir, what are we doing?" Winters allowed himself a grim smile. "We're going to wake up Mary." As emergency alarms wailed through the command center, Winters felt something he hadn't expected: hope. The Vex had come prepared for humanity's current technology, for their current strategies, but they couldn't have prepared for what humanity had buried and forgotten. Deep beneath the Franklin mountain range, in a bunker designed to survive a direct nuclear strike, the forgotten machine known as Mary waited, ready to remind the Vex Dominions why humans had survived every catastrophe their world had thrown at them. Reviving the mechanical titan. The cavernous underground hangar was shrouded in decades of dust, but Chief Engineer Olivia Hernandez could feel the weight of history pressing down on her as she stood before the colossal frame of Mary. The three-legged mech suit, a relic of a bygone era, dwarfed even the most advanced combat vehicles in the Colonial Defense Forces. Hernandez ran her calloused hands along Mary's outer hull, feeling the cold metal beneath layers of protective coating. "She's been preserved perfectly," she murmured, more to herself than to the assembled team of specialists. The original team knew what they were doing. Sealed environment, controlled temperature, even maintenance robots that kept running until their batteries died. The distant rumble of the advancing Vex walkers resonated through the mountain, a constant reminder that time was running out. Hernandez turned to face Commander Winters, her eyes filled with determination. "The main problem isn't mechanical, sir. It's cognitive. The original AI core is completely outdated. We need something that can handle the massive sensory input and reaction times required for a machine this size." Dr. Kavita Patel, the colony's leading AI specialist, stepped forward, her dark eyes reflecting a similar resolve. "I think I have a solution. We've been developing a neural network for the colony's atmospheric processors. It's designed to handle multiple complex systems simultaneously." Winters nodded, his gaze shifting between the two women. "Will it be enough?" Patel's expression turned somewhat uncertain. "Not alone," she admitted, "but combined with the original handling protocols, I believe we can create a hybrid system that respects the brilliant engineering of the past while embracing the innovations of the present." Hernandez's team worked with desperate efficiency, integrating modern quantum processors with Mary's original systems. Each hour brought more tremors from above as the Vex walkers drew closer to the colony's main settlement. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source: Lieutenant Amara Zara, a young pilot with a background in classical mechanics. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a series of equations in the original design documents. They weren't trying to build a traditional AI at all. They were creating a mechanical nervous system. Hernandez felt a chill run down her spine as she realized the implications. Mary doesn't need to think. She needs to feel. The team's efforts intensified, with Paddle's neural network serving as a support system, while the primary control would come through a direct neural link with the pilot. It was elegant, terrifying, and absolutely brilliant. "We need a pilot," Winters announced, his gaze sweeping across the assembled team. "Someone who can handle the neural load." Before anyone else could react, Zara stepped forward. "I studied every detail of her systems. I understand how she moves, how she thinks. Let me try." Hernandez watched as they helped Zara into the neural interface cradle, her young face showing no fear, only fierce concentration. The systems came online, and Mary's massive frame shuddered, decades-old hydraulics pressurizing with a sound like distant thunder. "Neural sync at 67%, Paddle reported, her fingers flying across her terminal. Zahra's eyes snapped open, but Hernandez could tell she was seeing something else entirely, seeing through Mary's external sensors, feeling through her pressure plates and motion detectors. "How does it feel, Lieutenant?" Winters asked. Like I've grown into a giant," Zara answered, her voice filled with wonder. "I can feel everything. The air currents, the vibrations from above, the weight of the mountain around us. She's not just a machine, Commander. She's alive." Another tremor shook the facility, stronger than before. Hernandez checked her tablet, her heart skipping a beat. "Vex walkers, directly above us. Less than 2 kilometers and closing." Winter's face hardened with resolve. "Lieutenant, are you and Mary ready for a fight?" Zara flexed Mary's massive hands, the hydraulics whining with anticipation. "No, Commander. We're ready for a war." As the team rushed to their stations, Hernandez said a silent prayer, not for victory, but for the Vex to understand their mistake. They had come expecting to find primitive humans cowering beneath their superior technology. Instead, they would face something unique: human ingenuity married to mechanical might, guided by a pilot who could feel every movement as if it were her own. The mountain trembled again, and this time, Mary trembled with it, ready to show the aliens exactly what humanity could do when pushed to the edge. The dance of giants. The first rays of dawn painted the sky crimson as Mary emerged from her mountain tomb, guided by the steady hand of Lieutenant Amara Zara. The massive mech suit moved with a dancer's grace, each thunderous step sending tremors through the rocky ground. Inside the neural interface cradle, Zara felt every movement, as if it were her own body. Mary's sensors extended her consciousness across the machine's vast frame, granting her a level of spatial awareness and responsiveness that no traditional control system could match. 3 Vex walkers approaching from the northeast. Maya Hernandez reported from the command module nestled deep within Mary's chest. Their energy signatures suggest they're running active scanning protocols. Commander Winter's voice crackled through the internal communication system. Remember, we have one advantage they don't expect. They're looking for modern technology. Mary's analog systems should be invisible to their advanced scanners. Zara guided Mary behind a ridge of weathered rock, feeling the morning wind caress the mech's external pressure sensors. The Vex machines strode through the valley below, their silver frames gleaming like polished mirrors. Each step of their 4-legged design was precisely calculated, impossibly elegant. "They're beautiful," Zara whispered, awestruck by the alien machines. "And deadly," Dr. Patel added, monitoring the AI support systems. "We're picking up energy builds in their weapon arrays. They know something's here, even if they can't get a clear read." Zara settled Mary into a combat stance, decades-old service humming with anticipation. The massive railgun mounted on her right shoulder rotated into position, while the left arm's plasmacaster charged with a low whine. But Mary's true strength lay in her legs, 3 titanium pillars designed for both stability and explosive movement. The first Vex walker passed directly beneath their position. Zara held her breath, feeling Mary's systems align perfectly with her own racing heartbeat. The moment stretched like elastic, about to snap. "Now," Winter's order crackled through the comms. Mary launched from her hiding spot with devastating force, tons of metal and composite armor moving with impossible speed. The Vex walker never saw the attack coming. Mary's right leg connected with its midsection in a thunderous impact, crumpling the alien machine's perfect geometry. "Target their leg joints," Hernandez shouted. "Their armor is weakest at the articulation points." Zara was already moving, her thoughts translating into action faster than any traditional control system. Mary's railgun roared, launching depleted uranium slugs at hypersonic velocities. The rounds punched through the second Vex walker's knee joint, sending it crashing to the ground. The third walker reacted with inhuman speed, energy weapons powering up with a distinctive high-pitched whine. But it was calibrated to track modern targeting systems, not the barbaric simplicity of Mary's optical tracking. "They're trying to hack our guidance systems," Paddle reported calmly. "Joke's on them. Can't hack hydraulic pressure and mechanical linkages." Zara felt a fierce grin spread across her face as she guided Mary into close combat. The Vex walker's energy beams sliced through the air where they predicted a modern combat system would move, but Mary didn't think like a computer. She moved like a human, unpredictable, instinctive, alive. Mary's plasmacaster unleashed a torrent of superheated matter point-blank into the Vex machine's sensor array. The alien walker staggered, its perfect coordination disrupted. Zahra pressed the advantage, feeling the strain through Mary's hydraulics as they grappled with the larger machine. "Warning, structural stress approaching maximum tolerance," the AI support system announced. "Mary can take it," Zahra growled, pushing harder. With a sound like tearing metal, she ripped the Vex walker's head unit clean off its shoulders. The alien machine collapsed, its remaining limbs twitching uselessly. Silence fell across the battlefield. Through Mary's sensors, Zahra surveyed the handiwork. 3 Vex walkers, among the most advanced war machines in known space, lying broken in the valley. Mary stood tall among them, steam rising from her hydraulics in the cool morning air. "Status report," Winters demanded. Hernandez's voice was filled with barely contained excitement. "Minor damage to external armor plating. All systems functioning within parameters. She's not even breathing hard, Commander." Patel's tone turned more cautious. "They'll adapt. The next wave will come prepared for close combat." Zahra felt a surge of determination course through her. "Let them come," she said, feeling Mary's systems pulse in harmony with her own. "We'll show them that humanity doesn't just survive. We thrive." Adapting the mechanical warrior. As the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, the Vex Dominion's walkers advanced relentlessly towards the human colony of New Montana. But deep beneath the Franklin mountain range, a forgotten relic of the past had been reawakened, the colossal mech suit known as Mary. Guided by the steady hand of Lieutenant Zara, Mary had already proven her mettle against the alien invaders. The first wave of Vex walkers had been no match for the mech's superior firepower and unexpected analog design, which rendered the Vex's advanced targeting systems useless. However, Zara and the team knew that the Vex would not be caught off guard a second time. They had to stay one step ahead of their formidable opponents. Inside the command module, Chief Engineer Olivia Hernandez pored over the data streaming in from Mary's systems. "The Vex walkers are already adapting their tactics," she reported grimly. "They're shifting their focus to long-range energy attacks, trying to overwhelm Mary's defenses from a distance." Dr. Kavita Patel, the colony's leading AI specialist, nodded in agreement. "Their scans have likely revealed the vulnerabilities in Mary's armor plating. We need to find a way to counter their ranged assault." Commander Elijah Winters crossed his arms, his brow furrowed in thought. "Can we modify Mary's systems to better handle those energy beams?" Hernandez shook her head. "Not without significant downtime for retrofitting. We'd be leaving the colony exposed in the meantime." Zahra's voice crackled over the comm system. "Then let's use their overconfidence against them. Mary may not be able to withstand a sustained barrage, but she can still outmaneuver those lumbering machines." Winter's eyes narrowed as he considered Zahra's suggestion. "Lieutenant, what are you thinking?" "Mary's hydraulic systems are state-of-the-art, even by today's standards," Zahra explained. "If we can time our movements precisely, we may be able to avoid the Vex walkers' energy attacks altogether." Hernandez's face lit up with understanding. "Of course. Mary's analog systems will be virtually impossible for the Vex to predict. We can use her agility to our advantage." Patel began typing furiously on her console, updating Mary's targeting algorithms and sensor suites. "I'm adjusting the AI support systems to prioritize evasion and counterattack strategies. Lieutenant Zara, you'll need to be on point, but the computer will assist with timing and coordination." Zahra nodded, her expression resolute. "I'm ready. Let's show these aliens what humanity can do when pushed to the brink." As the next wave of Vex walkers crested the horizon, Mary emerged from her mountain hideaway, her movements now fluid and unpredictable. The alien machines opened fire, their energy beams lancing through the air, but Mary danced between the attacks, her 3 titanium legs propelling her with explosive bursts of speed. Zahra felt the strain of the neural interface as she pushed Mary to her limits, anticipating the Vex walkers' targeting patterns and adjusting their course in split-second reactions. The mech suit's railgun roared to life, launching depleted uranium rounds that shattered the alien machine's armor with devastating precision. "They can't keep up," Zahra exclaimed, a grin spreading across her face as Mary outmaneuvered the Vex walkers with ease. "Their targeting systems are completely overwhelmed." Hernandez's voice rang out with pride. "That's it, Lieutenant. Keep them off balance. Mary's the predator, and they're the prey." With each passing minute, the Vex walkers grew more erratic, their energy attacks becoming increasingly wild and inaccurate. Zahra seized the opportunity, guiding Mary into close quarters and unleashing the full fury of her plasmacaster. One by one, the alien machines succumbed to the onslaught, their metallic frames crumpling under the relentless assault. As the last Vex walker collapsed in a heap, a triumphant cheer echoed through the command module. Winters allowed himself a rare smile, his gaze fixed on the towering mech suit that had turned the tide of the battle. "Well done, Lieutenant," he said. "It seems the Vex Dominions have underestimated us yet again." Zahra leaned back in the neural interface cradle, her muscles aching from the intensity of the fight. "They thought they were facing primitive humans, Commander. Instead, they found something much more. A warrior forged from the ingenuity and determination of an entire species." Hernandez placed a hand on Zahra's shoulder, her eyes shining with pride. And we're just getting started. The Vex have no idea what's in store for them. As the sun rose higher in the sky, Mary stood as a symbol of humanity's defiance, a testament to the power of innovation and the unbreakable spirit of those who refuse to be conquered. The Vex dominions had made a grave mistake in underestimating the tenacity of their human foes. Now they would face the full force of a species driven to protect their home, no matter the cost. The Reckoning. The Vex dominions had come to New Montana expecting an easy conquest, their towering walkers poised to crush the human colony beneath their advanced technology. But they had made a grave miscalculation. They had not anticipated the revival of an ancient weapon, a forgotten relic of humanity's past that would soon become its greatest defense. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Mary, the colossal mech suit, stood as a bastion of human ingenuity and resilience. Guided by the steady hand of Lieutenant Amara Zara, the machine had already proven its mettle against the alien invaders, its analog systems and lightning-fast reflexes overwhelming the Vex walkers' sophisticated targeting capabilities. But the Vex were not a foe to be underestimated. They had already adapted their tactics, shifting their focus to long-range energy attacks in an attempt to overwhelm Mary's defenses. The race was on. The humans had to stay one step ahead of their formidable opponents, using every advantage they could muster. Inside the command module, Chief Engineer Olivia Hernandez monitored the data streaming in from Mary's systems, her brow furrowed in concentration. "The Vex walkers are advancing again, Commander," she reported, her voice tense. "And this time, they're bringing reinforcements." Commander Elijah Winter's jaw tightened as he studied the tactical display. "How many are we looking at?" "At least a dozen, sir," Hernandez replied, her fingers flying across the console. "And their energy signatures suggest they've upgraded their weaponry. We're going to need every advantage we can get." Zara's voice crackled over the comm system, her tone resolute. "Then let's give them one. Mary and I are ready to dance again." Winters nodded, his gaze shifting to Dr. Kavita Patel, the colony's leading AI specialist. "Doctor, what can you do to give us an edge?" Patel's fingers danced across her terminal, her eyes narrowed in concentration. "I've been analyzing the Vex walkers' targeting algorithms. If we can disrupt their communications and force them to rely on their own onboard sensors, their coordination and precision will be greatly diminished." "Do it," Winters commanded. "Lieutenant Zara, stand by for my order. This is going to be a delicate operation." As the Vex walkers crested the horizon, Mary emerged from her mountain hideaway, her movements calculated and graceful. The alien machines opened fire, their energy beams lancing through the air. But Zara's reactions were lightning fast, guiding Mary in a series of evasive maneuvers that left the Vex walkers scrambling to keep up. Suddenly, a brilliant flash of light erupted from Mary's chest, and the Vex walkers' energy attacks began to go wild, their coordination breaking down. Patel's voice rang out with triumph. "I've disrupted their communication network. They're operating blindly now. Their onboard sensors can't handle the complexity of Mary's movements." Zahra seized the opportunity, driving Mary forward with explosive bursts of speed. The mech suit's railgun roared to life, its depleted uranium rounds ripping through the Vex walkers' armor with devastating precision. "They can't anticipate our attacks anymore," Zara exclaimed, her gaze fixed on the unfolding battle. "Mary, let's show them how humans fight when their backs are against the wall." The command module erupted in cheers as Mary unleashed a torrent of firepower, her plasmacaster incinerating the Vex walkers one by one. The alien machines, no longer able to coordinate their attacks, succumbed to the overwhelming onslaught. Hernandez's voice echoed with awe. "They're falling like dominoes, Lieutenant. You and Mary are an unstoppable team." Winters watched the battle unfold, a grim satisfaction spreading across his features. "The Vex dominions have underestimated us for the last time. This is humanity's reckoning." As the last of the Vex walkers collapsed in a heap of twisted metal, an eerie silence settled over the battlefield. Zara guided Mary to a commanding position, surveying the carnage with a mixture of pride and sorrow. "They were magnificent machines," she murmured, her voice tinged with regret. "But they were no match for the indomitable spirit of our people." Hernandez placed a hand on Zara's shoulder, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "You and Mary have saved us all, Lieutenant. The colony owes you a debt of gratitude that can never be repaid." Winters stepped forward, his weathered features softening. "The Vex dominions will not stop here, Lieutenant. This was only the opening salvo. They will return, and in greater numbers." Zahra's expression hardened with determination. "Then let them come, Commander. Mary and I will be waiting. We'll show them that humanity doesn't just survive, we thrive in the face of adversity." As the sun began to set over the broken Vex walkers, Mary stood tall, a testament to the ingenuity, resilience, and unwavering spirit of the human race. The Vex dominions had made a grave mistake in underestimating their foes. Now they would face the full force of a species driven to protect their home, no matter the cost. The battle for New Montana had only just begun.